And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, touching base with you as I always do every day. And I'm with my buddy and pal and partner in crime and Mr. Well, I should say just Mr. Chris Edwards. What's up, Chris?
None. Good morning. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm just like this. The information going out there regarding the folks out in Minnesota just gets crazier and crazier by the day. But
Yeah.
we all know the end game because we've been talking about it for the longest. And that is the ultimate game for Mr. Orange, Crazy Cankles, Taco Tits is to take the country and start the Insurrection Act,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. That's what's happening, and just causing all kinds of havoc, and it's not cool. Just not cool. It's disturbing. It's disturbing on all levels because I think, like Donlin was saying today, I said this yesterday. Where is Waltz? Where are these Democrats? The Democrats need to be fighting in the streets. They need to be out there. Where are the politicians? Why aren't they moving? But again, sometimes I just say I think they're all on the same team.
I don't know what to make of it. It's disturbing on so many levels. And like we talk about all the time, especially like yesterday, we try not to watch too much of it because we know what it is, and it's the same thing repeated over and over again. And you need to maintain some sense of normality and stability in your life. But typically before we come on, I'll have Don playing at 10 o'clock before we
You and
come on
I
at
both.
11. Yeah.
Because
That's a
well,
great source.
that's not regular. That is now the media. That's not what we call traditional media. That
Right.
is
But
where we get our
still,
news
but
now.
still, I mean, Don's giving it to you very unfiltered. He's not holding back. He's telling you the truth, which is
Yeah.
what you really want in a journalist. But it's still, it can be very defeating, deflating, disturbing all at the same time. And it's just like, we were talking before we came on with just some of the people that they assaulted yesterday. The young man now who they fractured his skull and now he is blind.
Yeah.
Yesterday, when he went out to protest, he could see. Now he is permanently blind. The young woman who was going to her doctor, she's autistic, and they snatched her out of her car.
Broke a
They even
window.
broke her
Broke a
window, and then I think
window.
they actually even took the
Sliced
car.
her safety belt, and then dragged her out like a cow, like a hog.
Yeah.
Tied her
And I
up.
mean, it's just like the things that they're doing. They are tear gassing communities. Jolly was at a protest last
Oh,
night.
he was good yesterday.
He got gassed. Like, this is a third world country.
We are no
Don't
longer in America, y'all. We
don't
are no longer
believe that
there.
you are in the America that you grew up in. We are now one of those shithole countries that that man talked about. This is a shithole country. When you can't be in your home and feel safe, because now also in Columbus, Ohio, they are going knocking door to door, asking people for their papers.
Yes. Yes.
This is not Nazi Germany.
This
Well, I
is
mean,
this
it
is not
probably
this is
is
not
now.
see, it is. And they're following the same. If you know the history, you know they are following the same plan that
Yeah.
they did in Germany in the 1930s.
Hitler didn't start out gassing people and doing all the things that he did.
No,
He started doing
exactly
banning
what they're doing.
books,
Banning stuff.
making government smaller, taking more power and control. These are the steps that lead you to
The
gassing
ultimate.
people.
Yes.
Okay. These are the steps that are taken to get to that point. It's not something where it goes A to B really quickly. There's A through Z.
It is absolutely the insanity just keeps going. But before we go there, I want to start on a nicer note.
Yeah.
For the gallery event that I have coming up. Well, guess what? The
Uh-oh.
photos are here. So I take them to the gallery on tomorrow.
Okay.
This is my girl.
Oh, I like that one. I know that one.
Yeah, so this is new. That's a new one to my new collection. This is a old and faithful. This is the Ghanaian
I
girl.
love that one.
That's the Ghanaian girl. And so she's going to be on the wall. And I'm going to tweak some of the stuff, get them all ready. Got to put labels on them and pricing and all that good stuff. This is a new one to the edition. And the Latin dancer.
I like that one.
So in black and white. And I love this driftwood framing that I put in there, and to complement that. And then finally, I've sold it to clients, but I've never had it myself. I never put it on the wall. And this one is Bosonian, Botswana. So Bosonian girl.
Mm.
And this one is like pure bliss. So she's gonna be on the wall finally in a gallery.
Love the frames.
Yes, the frames are beautiful. And then Taraji's back there.
How many? So are you doing what? 5 pieces?
5 pieces, 4 large, 1 11 by 16 by 17, I think it is. And so I'm excited about that. I have to take them down tomorrow. And like I said, I have to put all the labels on them and all that good stuff. And
Nice.
and I had to make sure I had quality controls. I had to make sure I see it first before it gets to the gallery.
Yeah, no, you have to.
And so that's going to be that's where we are. And well, also let's say good morning to some folks. I see some folks in the building, and I see that also. I'll let them know. I got some pins in some of these conversation thoughts. Bryson's in the building. Bryson gets the gold, y'all.
Wow. Come on, Bryson.
Bryson has the gold spot. And if you're in the building, please hit the likes. It's how the algorithms know that we are here and that you are here and that you are part of this conversation today. Bryson says, "What's up, Ron? What's up, Chris? What's up, everybody? Happy Law and Order Thursday."
Yes.
Law and Order. I've been a Law and Order fan. And look who's here also with the silver. It's Lisa.
Okay, Lisa.
Good morning with the star. And Bryson said from our conversation as we came on, he says, "They not moving." And Lisa, I put a pin on this thought for later on at our conversation. Oops, let me get it up there. Hold on, why is it not moving? There we go. Lisa says, "I believe this Verizon outage is part of a bigger, heinous plan."
Yeah, and we'll talk about that later.
I heard some other people saying this yesterday.
There's a anonymous post that was put up yesterday in regards to this as well.
So we'll talk about that. I put a pin in that. And Bryson says, let's go on with my little cursor here. Okay. Bryson says, why is it not? It's not, something's wrong here.
There you go.
Okay. I'll know everybody heard the Verizon outage. So we'll, again, that's another one. That same thing. And Lisa says she sent me a DM. I'll look into that. Bryson says this is the World War III. And Bryson, you are not far off in your thinking, in your train of thought.
Yeah.
Because let's dwell there a moment since we already got the top. Oh, we didn't get the top 3. The third person in the building is Chris
Yes.
R. She gets the bronze. Okay, now going back to Bryson's thought there. Bryson, you are onto something, and it could become this could be the setup to another world war. And people I've heard lots of commentators say this, and in regards to Greenland.
Yes.
Because
Let's
Greenland
talk about it.
is a NATO ally, a NATO country, and part of the NATO alliance. And the NATO alliance says if you attacked one of us, you attack all of us.
Absolutely.
And all of us will respond in accordance to the attack.
And what happened yesterday?
Yesterday, I believe it's Germany and also Denmark are now sending troops into Greenland to protect it. The UK is now getting ready to, has been, I think they're waiting for their parliament to decide on it, but they are going to, it probably is going to be sure that they do send troops into the Greenland. And then we will have the rest of NATO begin to debate on will they send their troops into Greenland. No one ever saw this coming. People
No.
thought the
Well,
Third World War would be like in the Middle East, but then no one thought America would be the world would
the
be fighting
catalyst.
against the United States of America, which I do believe, and I still believe that there will be no more United States. That's just my prediction. After this moron, the United States will be no more. It will be like Russia. Like Russia had multiple countries that are states that were countries underneath the USSR. And then when the fall of the USSR, then you got all of the Anias, the Lithuanias,
Yeah.
you got all of the Kakistans and Ekistans and all the stands,
Yeah.
all of those broke up
Well,
and became
so
their own countries
yeah.
once
I'm,
again. And people don't understand what the United States is. The United States is a collection of governments bound together by the federal government. Each state is its own government, but we're all tied together under the umbrella of the United States Constitution and United States of America. So there's going to come a point, and I do believe it's going to happen faster than I thought, that the states are going to have to call their National Guards, and the National Guards will fight the federal. Hopefully we won't get there, but what's happening in Minnesota could possibly be the beginning of the unraveling. Now, the question is, will Waltz have the guts and as like the other, like folks like to say, the balls to stand up to Trump and call up his National Guard, which is his constitutional right,
as governor,
and then stand against ICE?
Yeah.
And then what will happen after that is just going to be chessmate. It's going to be chess plays until the ultimate chess mate. And I been saying this for a while. I believe there will be an unraveling of this country. The country is going to be no more. And I don't see the United States here in 50 years.
You've said a lot in that, and let's start to unpack that a little bit. Let's go back to the origin of this Greenland. So, quote unquote, JD Vance, vice president, met with Greenland officials yesterday, and those talks broke down. The leaders of Greenland and Denmark had a press conference yesterday after their meeting and said that they're going to continue to talk on security and create a team, but they didn't seem very hopeful. And it's not in the words that they said; it's in their demeanor and how they presented it. A lot of times your body language can say a lot more than the words that you're actually saying can. I think they think that this is just like we're putting on a brave face. But I mean, when you have other countries sending troops to Greenland, that's a clear indicator of what's to come. And I think that you're absolutely right. We're heading down a very slippery slope. There's ice on the road, and there's nothing in our in the path to stop this. I think that's just where we're going.
Because we are in the clutches of a madman.
Yeah, and let's just expand a little bit further. He has created a fake Wikipedia page to say that he is the president of Venezuela. This man is not even governing the country that quote unquote elected him, but yet still he's saying that he's the president of another country. He's he's telling people that he's going to take over other countries and sovereign countries. You know, Greenland's not the only place he wants to. He openly said he wants Canada to be
The
another
51st
state.
state.
So it's just like, what happened to America first? What he campaigned on? You know, we're not worrying about anyone else. We're just going to worry about America. You know, and like, what was the whole purpose of putting tariffs if it wasn't about America first? I
This
mean,
man is,
he
but you know,
go
Chris,
ahead.
this man is a
Psychopath.
perpetual psychopath, and he's a liar on a psycho level. The
Yeah,
man never speaks truth. He indicates in his behavior. He tells you what he's going to do out
yeah.
loud.
He telegraphs what he's going to do,
He telegraphs it, but he
projects.
always lies. He lies about everything. And for
He
all the
doesn't.
fools that follow this idiot, which we've been saying since the very beginning, and again, we who live in New York, the same ones that live in New York, because there's some New Yorkers that love Trump. There's some New Yorkers upstate. When you used to go upstate, you would see Trump flags everywhere in suburbia New York or in the countryside. For those that don't think, people think, oh, New York is a very liberal state. It is
No,
not.
look
New
at
York
Long
City
Island.
is a liberal
Yeah,
city.
Long Island is even worse.
Long Island, Staten Island. These
Yeah.
people live among us all over the country. And these people
Yeah.
I want people to just embrace the thought of the stats that came out. I think it was just 2 days ago. 47% of Americans, or 48%, want to abolish ICE and get rid of it and say we are on the wrong track. But guess what? There's still 42% that are okay with this. They're okay with ICE in the streets. They're okay with people being dragged out of their cars. And this is the problem. 42%, 37%, whatever that number, he switches back and forth, that are still supporters. They live among us. They are at our dining tables. Well, some people's, not mine.
Yeah.
They eat with us. They work with us. And they believe in what these people are doing.
But here's the thing. I don't want to be doom and gloom. I want to throw out some hope, because I think we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but it just was
Hope.
reconfirmed
No, sorry.
again yesterday. A lot of people, especially kids, Gen Zers, they're turning in their parents, their fathers who are ICE agents, saying, "Oh, my father is an ICE agent," and they're well. When I say turning, they're letting it be known that they know that this is what they're doing for work, and they're putting it out there on social media. So there is a glimmer of hope, and especially coming from, as they say, within the house. So hopefully we see that trend continue, because, and the most disturbing thing to me is when you see a lot of these videos and you see people of color, even Hispanic people. There was a Hispanic woman who was a ICE agent that they had on camera, and I'm just like, how can you justify? I don't care how bad you need a job. How can you justify doing this to your own family members? There is a day of reckoning for all these people.
All these people. And it's going to come, but I don't know. I don't think some people are more optimistic than I am when it comes to, I don't think America will survive this. I just don't think. And the reason why I say this also, I really believe there is a day of reckoning. And it's just in my own head. This has nothing. I mean, like I said, in my head, some of the things I read and all that stuff. This country was founded on thievery, slavery, and brutality.
Yes.
Destroying people, hurting people, malicious behavior, accepting terrorism, domestic terrorism, and the KKK. This country foundation is built on a sand, not a good foundation. You know, they say a house will stand if it's on a good foundation.
On bedrock.
This country is not founded or built upon strong bedrock land.
Quicksand.
This is quicksand. This country was built on sand, sinking sand, as you know, those scriptures say, the sinking sand all around us, because it was built on everything artificial. And I believe the country cannot sustain itself. It cannot continue in this light. And the proof is in the pudding, is the divisions among us.
Yeah.
The old saying, there's African adages, there's Chinese proverbs, there's all these things. A house divided cannot stand. Lincoln said it too. A house divided cannot stand. And for all those people that are like, oh, America is going to be, as I look around the world, and I'm looking at the world moving in like a chess game, because I play chess. And I'm looking at how the pieces on the board are starting to move around. America is going to be isolated. America may have the might of nuclear weapons, but guess what? All the other countries, superpowers, have nuclear weapons too. And like China said the other week, or was last week, you may get us once. You may get off that one missile. But he says, you see that parade we had? I'm paraphrasing. He says, you see our weapons? He said, that one I think it's a C something. And he said the warhead on that missile has 5 other nuclear weapons that will fly out of it. And then there's a supersonic something that he mentioned that nobody on Earth has. He goes, you won't get us the second time. Now, China, that's a harsh threat. But guess what? It's not just China. Think about what Trump just did. I mean, the thuggery of taking another country, kidnapping its president, blocking and stealing the oil that was going to China and Russia. Do you think China and Russia are saying, we just lost all that money? The thuggery cannot endure. And the rest of the world is doing business already. They've already started since mid-year in 2025. After the tariffs went up, they said no longer will we do business with America. We are now moving away from America. I just read a report on a financial report 2 days ago about the currency and the dollar. The only thing that has sustained us in the world order after World War II is the dollar, and the confidence that we were not a threat to anyone.
Well, not anymore.
Now we are a threat, and our dollar now will be looked upon as we need to get rid of it.
All right.
I know I said a lot of stuff.
No. You said a lot of great things there, but I just want to jump in. My grandmother, my mom's mother, has been gone now 6.5 years, and I remember for the last few years of her life, she would always say to us when we just have general conversation. Now, mind you, my grandmother had
before you go,
dementia.
I just get the correction with what Elise gave us. The missile that China was talking about is called the DF-61. That's what it was. Yes.
Okay.
It has 60 nuclear warheads. One, and then it has 1 hydrogen. And the hydrogen, no one has. Now, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just want to make that correction.
Yeah. So my mom's mom, in her later years before she passed, used to always, and mind, this woman had dementia. But she was very clear-headed when she said this, and she said it over and over again, and I never really understood it, but now it's becoming extremely clear. She would always say that America is going to fall one day,
It is.
and she gave reasons behind it, and it was just like, now mind you, she didn't live here. She would always visit. She'd come in for the summers or whatever, but she followed politics in the news, and she would listen. She would always say that great country is going to fall one day because of the leaders that it has. And look at where we are today.
The corruption.
Listen to our elderly. They know what they've seen so many
Old folks
things.
be knowing, as they say.
Yeah. And then on top of it, we have to look at where we are right now as far as like, we always said this is a global world, a global economy. We've isolated ourselves. Now it's no longer a global economy in the way that we thought it was. It's somewhat singular when it comes to us, and the rest of the world is still global. I can't even want to say this, but I advise people who love to travel to be extremely careful now. And if you're going to leave out the country, before you even go, and I forget the website, I have to look for it. And maybe I'll have it for tomorrow, because I'm going to take time to try to do it today. But this has been going on for the last couple of months. People have been booking their trips, going overseas, and when they get to border control in the other countries after getting off the plane, they found that their passports have been revoked. They've been either put back on a plane, sent back to America, or they had to try to go to a local embassy and figure out what's going on. They weren't even informed that their passports were revoked. And there's no rhyme or reason. So now they're encouraging people, if you have a trip booked overseas, before you leave, there's a website you can go to see that, to make sure that your passport is still valid. And I'm not talking about expiration dates and being expired. The U.S. government is revoking and taking away people's passports and not even notifying them.
Yeah.
And putting you in a situation where you lose all the money you spent on your trip, and then being in a situation where now you're going to be detained until they can figure out why your passport has been revoked, or just put you on a plane to go back.
Yeah,
so
right.
For all the travelers, I mean, because I'm one of those people where I love to travel, but I'm very cautious now. Like, okay, what's going on here?
Look, I think, I'm into this. How I'm naturally wired for geopolitical news. I stay in it. I've been that way for decades. But since I plan to live overseas, visit overseas and work in between two countries, I have to be totally engaged with what's going on around the globe, because anything could change with any country and change all positions. For instance, Bryson has here, heads up, everybody. If you're trying to travel, if you're trying to be traveling all around the globe, the State Department is suspended 75 countries beginning next week,
Absolutely.
January 21st.
And a lot of them are Caribbean countries. Jamaica's on that list too now.
Is it?
Yes, it is. I looked at the list 2 days ago. Jamaica is on the list.
So you can't travel to
No,
Jamaica?
you can travel. What they're doing is they're not issuing visas to anyone in those countries. That's what's going on. Correct.
Got you. But
you can still travel there. Yeah, you can travel there, but they're not those 75 countries or 70, whatever it was, they're not giving those people visas.
Now, could you tell me why not? Why Jamaica? Why the Caribbean? What, why would
does this government have any rhyme or reason for anything it's doing right now? I mean, you can be in your home and they're not going to do it and say, I need to see proof of citizenship.
Your papers. For those that also don't, apartheid was not that far long ago. And again, like I said, I always mention that living in South Africa for several months, you get to see and learn a lot that you don't learn here in America. And apartheid and the way they executed apartheid also came heavily, the mindset structure from Germany, the 1930s, where during apartheid, you had to have your book. You had to have your it's like a passport, but it's a passport to roam around the city, in the different parts of South Africa. And But even here, what's happening in Minnesota and going door to door. Is it Minnesota that decided to go door to
No,
door?
it's
No, it's
Columbus, Ohio.
Columbus,
Columbus,
Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah, I think that's
So
where I
now they
heard
want to go
last.
door to door and ask people, are they citizens? But also in certain places, they already have been barging into people's residence and
Without
taking people out
warrants.
without
Without
warrants.
warrants.
So that's
Yeah.
already happening.
Yeah, it is happening.
I
So
watched this teacher defending her class
yeah,
yesterday.
they're going into schools, they're going into churches. These are all, I mean, the fact that you're going into a church, I mean, where's the separation? But anyway, I want to just kind of go back into the comments because people are making some really
Yes.
good points. And Gwendolyn had said it's going to impact the World Cup. Yes, because a lot of these countries that typically participate in the World Cup
I'm gonna pull out.
yeah, because here's the thing: they can't get visas for their players. People don't realize. Well, here's the thing: when you have a big international sporting events, part of it is all of the athletes have to have valid passports and visas to come into the host country to play. You know, these things don't just happen where you can say, all right, well, because I'm on a team sport, I can go over and play anywhere. No, you still have to have a passport. You still have to get visas where visas are required. And I mean, look, we talked about it yesterday. Over 17,000 people have already canceled their tickets and trips to come to the U.S. to watch World Cup. Now you're having countries that have athletes that are going to be playing can't get a visa to come and play. So why would they want to play here? There's been a big push to move all of the major games out of the United States and have them played in Canada because Canada and South America are hosting games as well. Even though America is the host country, there are other countries that will have games just to move those games there. There are travel advisories for the United States. They're telling other countries, telling people do not travel to the United States because it is not safe. Why would you want your people to go to a country where they could potentially be detained and then deported to another country, not the country that they're coming from, even though they're there for an event that's supposed to help to bring in revenue for this country? Why would you come here? Of course, I'm going to tell people don't come here. Why would you want to come here?
Yeah.
So I mean, there are so many implications to what's going on right now that people are not even really paying close attention to. The visa bans, it impacts the World Cup. It's financial. Why are you shooting off your own foot?
Because these people, they're stupid. They're the dumbest. These have got to be the dumbest people that have occupied the White House. I mean,
we said,
when they're
not
been
thinking.
Some crazy people. Yeah, but we've had some really bad presidents. Don't get me wrong. We've had some really racist, bigoted, bad presidents. But this is a bigoted, bad, stupid president. I mean, just so stupid.
Lisa's comment. Lisa, you hit it right on the head. Most of the African countries have Chinese infrastructure. And here's the other thing too. China has heavily invested in the Caribbean countries. I'll use Jamaica as an example because I know Jamaica's roads were built with Chinese money. Chinese came in and built all the highways in Jamaica. Jamaica does not own its roadways. It is basically leased to them from China because China built them. A lot of infrastructure in Jamaica is through China. China funds a lot of infrastructure around the world.
Yes.
And what America is trying to do is punish China, any country that uses Chinese money, to punish them. So that's why you have a lot of these Caribbean countries that they're using this visa ban on. Yeah. That's where this is coming from. So Lisa hit it directly hit it on the head.
And she also said most of those African countries as well. So like for instance, Ethiopia, Uganda, as they're building what they call the tri-country trading partners, they have been using Chinese technology to build the bridges and the roads to connect these three countries: Uganda, Ethiopia, and Rwanda. Yeah. So those three countries. And before you go there, the Chinese are everywhere in Africa. I mean, in every country except for those that kicked them out. But
Right.
they're in Nigeria, they're in Ghana, they're in South Africa, I do believe. And I know Russia has a partnership with South Africa. And so these but this is because while America has been fighting its own people because of racism and all the other crap that goes on here in this country, killing unaliving our people, the rest of the world has been building alliances. Alliances and relationships is what matters.
Yep.
I was talking to my buddy, my dear friend, and we were sitting there, we all hung out last week after they brought their work to the art gallery. And we were talking about the importance of relationships. It takes time to build good, strong relationships. And that is all levels of life. If you are looking to be a good friend, like a basic good friend to someone, you have to invest time, sometimes money, effort, emotion, vulnerability. All those things are required in a relationship, but it also threads through on all levels. Think about it. If you're going to have a business partner, you have to be able to have a relationship, honesty, trust. Every one of these levels, marriage, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. But the same rules apply in the governments around the globe.
Yep.
One gentleman said last night, I forgot what show he was on, probably was on Midas Touch. After what this moron is doing in the White House has done to this country, but it's not just him, it's been building up to this, but he's really the whack job that's like severing all of our relationships. It's going to take decades to rebuild relationships.
If we can, it won't be our lifetime.
The old saying is, it takes years to build a great reputation.
Yeah.
It takes 1 minute to destroy it all.
1 moment. Yep. So wait, I want to touch on something that Gwendolyn said. She said she saw a few interviews with visitors were afraid to come due to ICE actions. We talked about this on the show last year, where there was a Hispanic woman with her daughter. They were here on vacation in New York City, and ICE snatched her off the street and left her daughter, her young daughter, I think she was like 5 or 6, just on the street by herself. And luckily, passersby saw what was going on, and they brought the young lady to safety. I don't know whatever happened with the whole story, but the fact that this was a tourist who was here on vacation with her child, and they snatched her off the street. She's a visitor. She's not trying to say she's trying to stay here. She's here on vacation. She does what so many millions of other travelers do. They come to the United States. They want to come to America. They want to see New York City. They want to go to Times Square and see what, the things that they've seen on TV, to experience it for themselves. It's just like saying, me going overseas because, I see a place I want to go to and I want to experience it, and being snatched, kidnapped off the street in broad daylight. This wasn't done under the cover of darkness. This was done in broad daylight on a major street in Manhattan. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And then they leave your child right there on the side of the street.
But that's not that. But it's happened several times, and it's happened over and over. It's not that's just one incident that made it to the to the media, but it happens all over the country. I mean, think about the people that they've taken out of the cars and then left the kids in the car. Left the kids in the car. They take the parents and leave the kids in the car. Gwendolyn says Kankles is not doing this alone.
Absolutely right.
This type of teardown requires a well-oiled machine with many persons doing their part. And that's exactly what we said earlier before we started this show. And Chris and I always have our conversation. The Supreme Court has given license to all of this.
And let's put a correction, because I always listen to what Elise says to us. let's call it what it is. There are 6 people on the Supreme Court that are doing this.
Yes, 6 people.
6
The
people on the Supreme Court that are
conservatives
doing
on
this.
the Supreme Court, they're all in this together.
Yep.
They've licensed this. They said you can go out and, take people, look at the skin of the color of their skin. You can listen to their language, and you can arrest them and treat them whatever way you need to treat them. You get so, and you have, again, remember when they looked at the stats, there's still 42% of Americans that are okay with this. And also, we noticed that all of this mayhem is in the blue states. And like someone mentioned this morning, I think it was on Dawn's show, there's no coincidence that they have gone to Minneapolis because Walsh was running for vice president, and then they're in California because Kamala ran for president.
He's targeting all the states that, well, one, what you just said, but then also all the states that did not vote for him, where he did not win in. I mean, we all know this. I mean, he's been trying to defund all the states that voted "quote unquote" blue in the last election. I put up Jazzy's post. Wait, can you put that back up?
Go back to that. I missed it.
Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. I got it.
Go ahead.
People don't realize, but China has always been sitting back, waiting for the U.S. to implode on itself. They've been playing chess. They have been, and any smart person would know that this is exactly what they've been doing. China, they are not dumb people, and everyone knew that America would do this eventually.
Well, think about what the one of the ambassador, not the president, but the ambassador said. I think it was sometime last year. He says, "You will try to get rid of us, but we will outlive America. We've been here before America, and we'll be here after America." He was like, they've been here for not decades and not just 2.5 centuries. They've been here for millennia.
Yeah. And America is that spoiled child that's having a temper tantrum right now on the world stage. This is exactly what it is. And you know what the rest of the world who are parents are doing? They're looking at them and just walking away.
And that's what's happening all over the globe. I remember I mentioned early I think it was last month or 2 months ago, they had the big G6, I think, or G7 in South Africa, and America did not show up, and America was not there. And they interviewed the leaders, and they said, "We are so thankful. We did miss the Americans, but we got so much accomplished."
That says a lot.
So did you heard that, right? We did miss the Americans, but we got a whole lot accomplished. Saying if the Americans were there, and then they went on to say, we didn't have to worry about the press. We didn't have to worry about the cameras worrying about Trump and Kankus and what he's doing and taking away from what the other world leaders are doing. All the world leaders were equal. All the world leaders sat in the room and made decisions without America.
Listen, look what he did the last time when he was in office. I remember when he went overseas. Anytime he goes overseas and he's with other world leaders, he has to push his way to the front so that he can be front and center. I remember did he push the German president out the way so that he could be in front?
I think it was one of I know it was one of them, but he pushed that person out.
It was just like, sir, like, you are a fucking child.
He is.
You're
dangerous.
A 5-year-old in a 70-something-year-old's body.
And I don't know if you guys saw this. Some people may have seen it. I really wish I should. I should be copying and pasting a lot of stuff more often. I was reading this morning the comments by Franklin Graham. Somebody had it on my Facebook page, but people went off. They were like, he was saying he was almost like saying what's her name again? Renee. That was the young lady Renee, right? From the young
Renee,
lady,
yeah,
yeah,
one that
Renee,
was murdered.
that was murdered, and almost saying it was her fault because she didn't obey the police.
Oh, that's exactly what he said.
And I sitting there like, there's again these white nationalist Christians in this country have always used Christianity as a weapon. They come from a root of people from Europe that have always used Christianity as a weapon to get into different people and different cultures and to take
But
control, to
here's
do
something.
dominance.
Most wars in this world have always been fought over religion.
Religion, or cloaked in religion.
Yeah.
Dr. Tachi says, sorry to say, Americans are problematic and are not savvy enough to sit on the world stage.
Right now, absolutely. We've had our moments where, I mean, it makes you long for the days of, like, say, Bill Clinton, President Obama. I mean, I hate to even say this, and even the Bush. I mean, granted, Bush wasn't the greatest. He had all these presidents have their faults and stuff, but there has never, ever, ever, ever been anyone like who's in the White House and an administration that surrounds him that's been like this. Even what's the guy from Watergate?
Nixon
doesn't even pale in comparison to him.
But I've always said, and I will always say, because America is so weak in not taking care of the criminals that dwell within it in leadership, because they're all in this together. A lot of them are in this together. And you think about if Nixon would have went to jail,
yeah,
there would have been no Trump. Because
probably.
How many times also has some of the people that hung around Nixon ended up hanging around Trump in the first term of his presidency? The first people that were around Nixon were around Trump. And if America has simply put their bad president, I saw it, simply put that president in jail for his crime, it would have been noted for history's sake precedent that America also, like the rest of the world, when their prime ministers do crimes, what do? They put them in prison. No one is above the law. And until America is able to, same thing with the KKK. How do you have a domestic terrorist group
and not label them that?
They're the worst in American history.
Documented.
They're the oldest in American history. They've done all kinds of evil. And yet to this day, these folks will call a woman with stuffed animals in her car,
who has done nothing wrong, has no criminal record,
and call her a terrorist, a domestic terrorist.
Absolutely, that part.
But you got a whole history.
They've labeled a movement a terrorist organization, Antifa. It's not
and Antifa doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
So,
and it's only a couple years old.
But this is why I say it can't endure. It cannot. This country cannot endure under this structure. It needs to be revamped, redone, reshaped. The only way it's going to happen.
Part of the problem is that America has never dealt with its past and has never owned up to its mistakes as a whole. You've had presidents come out and apologize, but on a whole, this country has not dealt with its past. And until you can confront that, let me tell you something. America needs therapy. America needs a therapist. Just like how we're always telling people, oh, you need to go to therapy to unpack your problems and whatever's going on with you. America needs to unpack.
Yeah, but I said, like I said, I don't think America will be here in 50 years. Don't believe it. I think it will go the way of the dodo bird. Now, will something rise up and take its place? I mean, look, Russia's still around, but the USSR no longer. And most countries that are empires will have lots of, countries built under it. Once the empire falls, one by one, those states or those countries fall away.
The other thing, here's another thing
They
to think about.
leave, not fall away, but they
The
leave.
the Russia-Ukraine war now has been going on for 5 years this year, I believe.
Can't believe it's been that long.
I mean, just look how long this has been going on. This could have ended years ago, and it's still going on today.
Yeah. So this is where we are, guys. I mean, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I want us to be, but I know that we also, and just to change, we know what's happening in the world, and we make sure we talk about it, because this is TrendWatch Thursday, and what's happening in the news, what's going on, what's happening, and there's you can get a lot of news from our wonderful online folks, Midas Touch, John Lemon, all the other folks out there that are giving great news and footage and coverage. But at the end of the day, I am gonna always, one thing I would say Gwendolyn has really instilled in my brain for this year: we are, one, going to survive. Two, we must protect our peace. So my question is, how are you protecting your peace in all of this insanity? Maybe you can give some advice to the rest of this community. How are you protecting your sanity? I know you say, some say not looking at the news. Well, you need to look at the news so you can still know what's going on. Maybe not in the large dosages, but what are you doing to protect your sanity in an insane world? So just my question to you guys. But we did say we wanted to talk about the Verizon thing, right?
Yeah.
So yesterday, while you're thinking about how you're protecting your sanity, so yesterday there was a Verizon outage.
Massive.
Massive
Well,
outage.
before you go any further, yes, it was Verizon, but other providers as well were affected, but not as bad. Because when I went to download detector, it showed all the carriers were having issues. It just was, for whatever reason, Verizon was the main culprit of what was going on. Continue.
So yesterday, the Verizon. So a lot of people were trying to reach out to folks, and it's also some folks were having problems with their phones. My brother reached out to me. He said, "What phone service you on?" And I said, "I got T-Mobile." So I didn't have any problems with my T-Mobile yesterday. But a lot of folks could not reach their relatives and connect with their folks. And Lisa mentioned earlier in this in our chat here, she brought up. Let me just get that there. She's, I believe the Verizon outage is part of a bigger hiatus plan. And it's interesting because obviously, this is the internet. So people are automatically going to go into conspiracy theories. But I wouldn't be surprised at this point. At this point in my life, in looking at this country and looking at what's going on here, and again, I'm not dumping totally. I mean, the rest of the world has its problems. Other countries still have their white supremacy. They still have their colonization mindsets. It goes on around the globe. But since we're here in America, we'll talk about America. I am no longer surprised by anything. And when you got journalists who I follow, like really good journalists, and they're saying, we just don't know what to believe any longer because there's so many lies out there. There's so many lies coming from the White House. You can't believe anything is coming from them. You can't believe in the lies because there's people that connected to those movements in the White House, white supremacy and all other stuff, white nationalists. And but yeah, I don't, you know, like I said, I saw a lot of it yesterday. People were saying this is a test.
Yeah.
Some was like, this
So
is a test.
let's
Go
unpack
ahead,
that a
buddy.
little bit. So let's unpack that a little bit. So, yeah, Lisa, there have been, granted, we don't like to be conspiracy theorists on here at all. We
Yeah.
try to go off of facts, things that are reported in multiple sources. We're not journalists. We're just giving our opinion here. But when you start to look at things, it's like, okay, well, what's really going on? Just know that what's going on in a lot of these states and what the devices that people are using to communicate and to put out into the world,
Hmm.
what's going on. All of a sudden, the largest mobile network in the United States goes down, not for like an hour or so, for the entire day. Basically, this started maybe like around 10, 11 o'clock, because it was actually going on when we were on the air. Because I remember Ronald texted me because he was on Wi-Fi. He said, if you're trying to reach me, it might not go through properly, or if I'm trying to text you, it probably won't go through because my phone is saying SOS. And then when I looked, I'm like, my phone's saying SOS. That's weird. Let me tell you something. Out of all the services that I've been on all the major carriers. Verizon has always been the most rock solid. And even when I travel internationally, I've always had rock solid service wherever I went. Now, with that being said, um, Verizon service was down all day. Unless you were on Wi-Fi, a stable Wi-Fi network, you couldn't get cell phone service because you can do Wi-Fi calling. You couldn't do cell phone regular calls. You could not do text messages. If you're like on iPhone, whatever, you could sync stuff and send stuff via iCloud. That worked. But when you're out in the streets, you were getting no service. You can't send stuff. All right. Now, people are saying this is harkening back to last, I believe, summer when AWS, for those that don't know what AWS is, that's Amazon's web service. Now, Amazon controls the majority of the internet around the world. All of the internet services and providers that we use Amazon services as the backbone to get onto the internet. And I don't think a lot of
Mm.
people know that. These other companies that where we're paying our money to get, you know, service at home for streaming and for, all the mobile stuff that we're using. This is all run through Amazon services. Amazon is not only a place where you go and shop and buy stuff, get books and products, but it's how the internet around the world is run. And a lot of
Mm.
people were saying that what happened to Amazon last year was a stress test of the system to see if they could take it down. And that's what they're saying about this also now. Like I said, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but like when you start seeing patterns of things happening, and is it coincidental that this happened during all these things that are going on right now? I don't know, but we're just putting these pieces out there. And you draw your own conclusions.
Yeah. That's it is something to think about. And that's why I said I'm a believer of being ready, get prepared, store your if you can store your food, dry foods, all that stuff. Because we are all connected through these devices.
Yeah,
When these devices go down, how do we know what's going on with the rest of the world? Our
exactly.
television, everything is connected to the digital world. Some folks that are smart that have maintained their analog systems, which is very rare to find, but there are some out there. Um, but yeah, we need to really rethink and kind of like really start
So,
thinking about what could happen if
so
we don't have it.
Elise, absolutely. She was saying her daughter told her that's how Amazon makes their money. Yes, all of Amazon's money does not come from Amazon where we get our ship packages. It comes from AWS. That's where their money
Mm.
comes from.
Is that also part of the whole AI structures where they have all these big giant, where all the data is going through? Is that the same thing?
Uh,
Under AWS?
I don't believe it's the same thing. But here's the thing: all of our data and information is being gobbled up by all these services. So I'm sure they can siphon off of it and build their models and stuff like that from that information. But just know the infrastructure of the internet is run off of AWS, the
I
majority of it,
see.
and not just in the United States. It's a global thing.
Dr. Tachi says, and this problematic. The original intent of the internet was to have a decentralized network where no one centered could be knocked off. AWS is a complete
Antithesis. Yep.
antithesis to that concept.
Absolutely, Dr. Tachi.
Jazzy says CrowdStrike and AWS have a monopoly across the globe.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know anything about these. I don't know anything about CrowdStrike. I need to do some reading. I didn't know that. Do we know who leads Jazzy? Do you know who owns CrowdStrike? I love this. See, this community is so informative. I learned so much. We already said this about Elise. Elise says, my daughter used to work for Amazon, and she said that's how they really make their money. And what else on here? Jazzy says also, most people don't realize this, but in the beginning of this clown's administration, they dismantled this cybersecurity branch, which is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Jazzy.
Yeah, think about these. All these pieces fit together. Like, why would you take that down? Like, that is how we've been able to stay ahead of other countries infiltrating our infrastructure.
Yeah, I forgot about
that. No one's monitoring it now.
Jazzy, well, that's the whole thing. There's so much going on. You forget what they've already.
That's the point.
You forget what they did. That was the first thing they did.
It's all about distraction. It's all about distraction.
Lisa says the dummy in office is worrying about the wrong-ish. Meanwhile, China is about to take down the whole U.S. It's not far-fetched, and not only China. They were showing about different countries that have the power now to financially take us down because of the weakness of the dollar. But this is interesting too. Elise says the X satellite constellation is real. Walkie-talkie Solar Cash. Walkie-talkie Solar Cash just have a plan, says the blessed MBA. Jaddy says most of their money comes from AWS. With Microsoft, they make their money by CrowdStrike. Thank you. It's Microsoft. And they just went up on their on their systems on the 365 series. Blast walkie-talkies can go far. Isn't there a range? Yeah, back to the old days. I saw a video that said a satellite blew up over Texas. Okay. And then Lisa also says, but China is the big guy in campus. The DF-61 is no joke. And speaking of China did something yesterday that economically that they have not done before. Thanks to Trump's tariffs, China had the best trading year ever. Because they've trading with all the different parts of the world. People have left America and now are trading with China. And so they had the best economic year in their history in 2025, thanks to the tariffs. It was on the financial channels all day yesterday. China is, again, while America is dug into stupidity, the rest of the world is moving on. Okay,
well, when you don't have educated people,
that's what happens. Okay, let's get ready to close out. And I think let's go back to those what are people doing to keep their sanity? And I
saw Dr. Tachi said that she meditates.
Yes, and I saw Gwendolyn has something there as well. Let's go back. Start. Okay, there we go. Okay. Let's see where it starts. Right there. Today, G says, today I'm wearing my pink with red hearts onesie while I work. That makes her happy. And Dr. Tachi says, oddly enough, The Biz Chicks just did a show today about meditation. The guest mentioned she was paying too much attention to the news and led us through guided meditation. You know, Dr. Tachi, I said I need to get that on my calendar to hang out with you guys in the morning. And Elise says, I'm crocheting. And what else is going on? Dr. G says, Dr. Chachi, I started meditating back in 2020. Best thing ever. How many of you do meditate? I meditate off and on. I need to meditate more, though. G says, oh, and I'm wearing one of my favorite fragrances to set the mood for the day. See, there's things we can do. There are a lot of things we can do to keep our sanity, to keep us happy. Because we have friends. We have friends. We have a community. We have friends that we are in community with. Several communities, hope some of us. I think that's it. Well, that's all of them. Okay, I think we got them all, Chris.
And someone says, I pray. It is 12:06, I believe.
Okay.
12:08, sorry, 12:08. 12:08. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, I have to tell you, I love technology. So one of the things that makes me happy is obviously learning. I'm on my 139th day of French. I am learning my French. And then I finally came home. So I was able to dive into my new toy, which I played with this morning. And I have new glasses.
we about to see the reveal of the new glasses?
I am ready for technology.
Wait, are those Meta glasses? I see the cameras.
These are my Meta glasses.
Oh God, we're in trouble now, y'all.
And the prescription transferred nicely. My prescription is good. I can still see everything. And Adrian was trying to help me with it last night. Trying to figure out all the buttons.
Are those the Ray-Ban ones?
These are the Ray-Bans, yes.
So we're going to get some lives from those glasses?
You are going to be getting some lives from my glasses. Like when I'm cycling around the city, I'll be able to go live and share. Now I'm trying to figure out, we'll see, hopefully it will. I wonder if I'll be able to use this camera with my StreamYard.
I was about to ask that. Are we going to get some StreamYard ones for this?
I'm going to try to figure it out. So last night we were trying to figure out the Instagram part of it all.
Technically, you should be able to because it has a camera. It has video and audio, right?
Yes.
So why shouldn't you be able to? You can tether it to a device and should be able to get it.
I think. I'm going to find out how far I can go with these glasses. But I have to tell you,
in trouble.
I really do enjoy them, and I've only had them for roughly 12 hours, a little more than 12 hours. 16 hours I've had them for, and I tell you, I'm really loving them. I do not know that question, Lisa. I didn't see a question also. Do you know the range? I do. Different walkie-talkies have different ranges from when I used to have a walkie-talkie. I haven't had a walkie-talkie in decades, but they do have them. I don't know what the range is, but I do know that they are different types of walkie-talkies because some people have them for military, some have them with satellite, some have them with Wi-Fi, and some have them with a combination of mini. Some go on this, what they call that, like we know this, the broadband, I think it's called. And that one, I know the answer is that there's many ranges for walkie-talkies because I know we used the walkie-talkie when we used to go skiing. So when you go skiing, you all have walkie-talkies. So anyway, just in case you got lost. This is when I used to ski back in the old days.
Are we doing banners before we get out of here today?
I think we should do banners. I think so.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get the banners in and let's do it so we can get out of here. Again, folks that want to connect with us as a community, join us on our YouTube community, Ron Lewis Photos. Also, if you want to receive emails and updates, which I'll start getting on some of those next week. So get into the know by being on the mailing list. And also, if you're looking for an event photographer, that's what I do. That's how I make some money. And again, thank you to our Patreon members. And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon member, these are the people that support this channel and what we do here. And you can just scan that QR code and become part of the conversation in our Patreon community. I am going to start also putting links to all of our shows every day into the Patreon community, so that way people that are in the Patreon community can always just see everything that's going on in what I'm doing here. Also, last but not least, make sure you join or hit the likes. Hit the likes, subscribe if you've never been here before, and become part of our community. There's a lot of wonderful people here, intellectuals, great conversations, great things going on in their lives. Connect with people. Okay, I think that's it. Chris, you have anything that you wanted to share?
Yeah. So the next podcast / YouTube for Ronald's Wait What comes out Saturday at 11 a.m. We just recorded it, and he actually put a little teaser on his Instagram, and it's on my stories as well. I'm his first guest, so join us this Saturday for that.
I'm looking forward to you being the guest.
Yeah, it was fun.
A family affair.
It was, but it was fun. It was fun.
She says, "Good day, y'all." And Lisa says, "Have a great day, everyone," with a question mark. And then, will you have a great day or try to have a great day? Dr. Tachi, and let's see what else is going on. Using tech for good, Mrs. Elise. But I play with these. They have speakers in them so you can hear. I really like them. So anyway, but they're heavy. They are slightly heavier than they're way heavier than my regular glasses. Okay, guys, have a great day. Enjoy. Tomorrow's our Focus Friday. If you have an account that you want to encourage people with and share, that informs, inspires, and encourage. Yes, this is also Martin Luther King's
holiday weekend. Yep.
Holiday weekend. So be safe out there as well. I see some of those roses from Miss Jazzy Jazz. She's always got her little roses out there. And I see from Mimi says, "Hey, but have a good day, family." And I think we've got that all covered. Okay, guys, have a great day. Enjoy. Be encouraged. Don't overconsume the news. Just get what you need and then walk away. Focus on what matters.
Turn the TV off.
Right, he said, "Turn the TV off." But I always say, focus on what matters. Take care, guys. Later.
Bye.